Hello everyone, Sandra here, and today I kind of want to talk about a little bit of a fun subject, which is my top 5 superpowers that I would like to have. I do want to make it clear before I start that these are not like genie wishes or something, but these are more like superpower type things. So the first one is teleportation, because how could it not be teleportation? I know flight is really, really cool, and that's another like movement ability, or so is like super speed, but like teleportation is literally, like proper teleportation has an undefinable speed, because speed is distance over time and teleportation is distance and time is 0. Like teleportation would just, I hate commuting, I hate spending time on travel, so being able to teleport where I want to be is just like, that would be amazing. Also, it would allow for a super sweet side gig as delivery, which would be really nice, but I just like the ability to, say, visit friends without having to spend time in traffic getting there, or go to a country on the other side of the planet without having to spend a lot of time in the air. So teleportation, definitely my first one. The next one that I'd really like, actually, is transformation powers, kind of like Mystique has from X-Men. I just think that's really cool. I would love to be able to, like, there's the minor appearance change stuff that you could do, sure, but then there's also, like, what is it like to walk around looking completely different? For example, being a woman, and how is that when you're doing the transformation? Or, you know, changing your race, or, like, you'd be able to interact with society in a different sort of way, and I just think it would be really cool to be able to change appearance, like Mystique can. That is definitely way up there for me. And then the next one is actually telepathy, because I think it would be really useful to be able to understand what other people actually mean when they say things. Like, this to me would be the kind of ultimate form of, because what I'd want from this is kind of the, to some extent it's like being able to understand all languages, but what I really want from this is to be able to understand ideas that other people are trying to communicate, or to some extent think. It's to be able to selectively, not be bombarded, but selectively be able to actually understand somebody. And like, what I'm saying with all of this is, one, everybody has a slightly different version of whatever language it is that they speak. Like, I primarily speak English, and my version of English is not the same as anybody else's version of English. It's kind of unique to me with my own set of like connotations and stuff. A really good example of that is the word ambivalent, where to me that means kind of like I can't really choose because I just don't care much in either direction. But to some people, it's like, I can't choose because I'm super conflicted. Like, both directions seem really, really good, and I just cannot pick one. So, to me, when I hear somebody say that they're kind of ambivalent about something, that means that it's like they're kind of apathetic, and like whatever way kind of is fine, and they just don't really care. But I've talked about it with some of my family members, and they're like, no, to them, it means that like they're super conflicted, and they just cannot choose because like both seem amazing, sort of thing. It's just like a very different understanding of what ambivalent means. And that's just one example of one word. So the fact that, like, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that language is a horrendously imprecise means of communicating ideas. Like, to be able to understand what somebody's core idea that they're trying to communicate is without having to go through language would be amazing. And I'd really like that. I think it would just help with understanding so much. It'd be really, really cool. And then my next one is telekinesis in my list, because telekinesis is really awesome. I mean, who doesn't love the Force? Being able to move things with your mind at a distance is just, the ways that is useful is really, really high. And for just lots of little things, like not being able to get a good angle on something because your arms don't quite bend the right way, use telekinesis. Want to go retrieve something that's kind of like near you, but like really awkward to get to, use telekinesis. Need to angle your toothbrush in a particular way, use telekinesis. Like, I don't know, maybe fly with it. That's the thing, right? Pick yourself up. I don't know. But telekinesis is just like, it's got a lot of uses that just make life just a little bit smoother, a little bit nicer. And just like, that would be super handy to be able to have. And then my last one might be a little bit weird, so I'm going to have to explain it. The way that I've written it is to actually have control over my body. And what I mean by that is, like, sure, I have control over things like manual breathing and, like, where are my arms and, you know, moving my limbs around and blinking and all sorts of random stuff. But there's a lot of things that I don't really have control over. Like, I don't really have good direct control over being sleepy enough to fall asleep, for example. That would be amazing to be able to have control over. Be like, it's time to go to sleep now, body. And my body's like, cool. And is like able to go to sleep. Or and this would be a really good one, to be able to have my body use this excess fat that I've been building up around my middle that I'd like to not have. And be like, yeah, this is here. Please use this. I don't need it. Please be smarter about this. And get rid of it. That would be really, really nice. And there's just like, I'm sure that there are more little things that I could come up with other than those obvious things. But I just feel like there's like little controls of how the body is working where it would be really nice to have full control. Like, for example, not having allergic responses to things. That would be really nice. To be able to be like, body, look, you're overreacting. You don't need to overreact to this. And it's like, okay, boss, we will not react to this. That would be amazing. That'd be so great. Like, I would love to not swell up ridiculously when I'm bitten by a mosquito. That would be incredible. So I just feel like having more control over sort of the internal processes of my body would be an amazingly useful superpower in like lots of little subtle ways. Or even just things like, hey, maybe I don't need to do X thing right now, like salivate as much, as a random example, as I'm feeling like I'm having a little bit too much of that going on right now. Or just, you know, just these little things like that, where it's like, I would like to be able to have sort of these minute controls over some of like what my body is doing. And it'd just be super handy. Or just even like precise information on like, what does this pain mean? You know, and stuff like that. It's just, it would be fantastic. So that's my list of superpowers. And it'd be interesting to know, what sort of superpowers would you like to have? And again, superpowers, not genie wishes. So not things like infinite wallets, but just like, this thing is like, I don't know. Think about like what the X-Men can do or something, for example. Sort of that sort of thing. Where it's a part of who you are. It's just like, boom, superpower. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go now. So take care, everyone. Goodbye.